rainbow for some of the island.
My name is Kimberly Yamaguchi. I'm 10 years old and I want to be a medical doctor when I grow up.
My dream in the future, I want to be a businessman in Chuk, owning a factory.
My dream is I want to be a basketball player and playing music.
And my dream for the future is to be successful.
My dreams for the future is to start my own business and help the state of Yap.
My name is Zafra Sedwin and I'm 10 years old and I want to be a great leader when I grow up.
And I always hope to become a lawyer in the future.
I want to be a policeman when I grow up.
Hello, thank you very much.
I've been out of school for 3.5 years. And I always stay at home. Got nothing to do.
We get together, got involved in alcohol and do all kinds of stuff like we get in car and try to get the police to chase us.
Some kids usually start drinking alcohol at 12 years old or 11 or 13. I think they do that because they have some problems and they can't solve their problems, so they think that they can solve it by smoking marijuana or drinking alcohol.
We had a lot of gangs. We just sort of gather around, make a certain group and start carving out those sticks and breaking them bottles and start beating up other kids.
We've somehow, in the process of moving along with the changes that have come, we've sort of lost the type of things, whatever they were, that made life meaningful for youth.
The youth of Micronesia today are different from previous generations of young people. In the past, an entire village would look after their younger people and would teach them their place in the community. Today, Micronesian parents struggle to raise their own children.
When the traditional system was still very strong, I think there's always a place for the youth in the villages. They get involved in village projects, fishing, building community houses, growing crops and harvesting and preparing food for feasts. They have always been involved. I think more recently that kind of involvement is not as strong as it used to be.
Before I would have that resource right there in the village. I would have an older person who would be there for me, who would sympathize with me or help me with whatever it was that I needed. And usually that was more than enough.
Carmen Chigi and Father Apollo Thal are among many Micronesians who share a growing concern for today's youth. They see young people struggle to find their identity at a time when there are very few traditional role models.
There are other things that are needed, but definitely because of the lack of other alternatives, youth groups now play a very important role in fulfilling unmet needs.
My village is Bogol. It's in the municipality of Tamil, and because there are more youths in my community, we're the strength of that village. We first started a youth club in our village with about 20 to 30 boys and girls. We found that there are a lot of kids hanging out without anything to do. We started by cleaning around in the village because there were a lot of trash. So we started with picking up the trash, dumping them ourselves, and then we started planting flowers on the roadside to make it look pretty. And then we made our own activities within the village. Without us, I don't think there would be like any dances. We have, I guess, a role in the community.
Choreographing activities, addressing island issues, providing support and educational aid. Youth groups like the Vocational Youth Club and YAP play a vital role in changing Micronesia. They bring the youth together, giving them purpose and direction. Youth programs can also provide a forum for addressing the numerous challenges young people face today. After consulting with the young people in the community, the Youth Development Office in Goshrai set up a program targeting out-of-school youth.
We use the radio also to announce in the air whoever is interested should come and see us at the office. Now we have 21 students enrolled. Started out with citrus, banana plantation. Now we're moving into vegetation, backyard garden, poultry, and piggery, hopefully by end of the year.
The 6-month training program aims to teach out-of-school youth farming and traditional skills like wood carving, while encouraging them to go back to school. Even if they don't, the skills they have learned will help support them and their families.
I have nothing to do at home, so I'd like to find something else to do, like socially. So I decided myself to join this program. Every day in the morning we come here for like 8 o'clock in the morning and started working.
So instead of going back to school, yeah, for those that will not be able to make it, they can do wood carving or create their own greenhouse, small greenhouse.
The program also provides counseling, particularly on alcohol and drug abuse.
Now, it's kind of, when I'm kind of thinking about the negative effects of this alcohol first before I take it.
In Goshrai, the only activity that is, seems to be the popular one is the sport. But it comes during the end of the day. So parents are preoccupied many times. Most of the times they have their own roles, and they have nothing for the kids to do. We have to get our young people involved in fisheries training, farming projects, many other activities that could be become contribution to the economy or social well-being.
A similar program, run by the Youth Service in YAP since the early 90s, has had great success. 70% of its participants have gone back to school.
Then I heard a lot of kids talk about the Second Chance program. They say that it's a very good program. They help kids go back to school and learn some other things that they don't know. And I decided that I'm going to join the program.
The first thing we do is we usually try to get them back to school. And then the second one is we try to get them on the job. Like go around and find a good job for them. First we usually ask them what kind of job or things they want to do. And we usually give them a little tutoring program over here. At the meantime, we go to hospital for counseling.
I learned that it will affect you if you smoke marijuana or cigarette or drink alcohol.
It is very important to have a program like this so we can educate these youth to to at least have a better future.
In Chuk, where there are few government-funded organizations, most youth groups are church-affiliated.
We have what we call Youth Council, and that plans activities for the youth in the different parishes. And then it comes down to parish level, then we also have overall youth council in that parish, and then we have youth organizations in the different sub-parishes within that parish.
Ricardo Fabian is the president of the Holy Family Parish Youth Organization in Chuk. Once a heavy drinker and drug user, he turned his life around when he attended a youth workshop sponsored by his parish.
And when I joined the workshop and I see some youth are my classmates in Chuk High School, and I think, why are they too good and why am I lost? And they talk to me. They helped me to change my life, be like them.
The youth here in our parish are doing community services. They are very involved in liturgical life.
Their coach, our kapon, chufagan medicine. Kaya orang stere rayuan si boleh chufagan medicine. Ke 5 organization, abni cek tori chufagan, ya apa for activity. Ada pura piuing, nampak break, very not down. Ngawi pan ngeri ke each organization to metro beferi, arba cepan. Community.
We have designated every Wednesday to have our liturgy being in charge of by the youth, and by that they are the ones doing the readings, doing the singing, doing the offertory parts.
Now we second seorar neguruk. Li afen watera ar neguruk. Kowo tiken nar ke sub parishes. Me pisir pastor para ke pomodor. Other leaders in the community for the church. They really give the youth to help the mass or liturgy.
The programs that are ongoing, or at least live longer, are the youth programs, are those dealing with the church, or church youth organizations. Those are the ones that make a difference in the youth life. And I think that's the only thing that the youth really do feel that they belong to someone or something, to participate in something, to be recognized. This is why they join up, because there's not much that the government offers.
Because of the lack of other types of youth programs in Chuk, Linda Mori Hartman plans to reactivate the Fairo Youth Group, a non-governmental program which focuses on culture and tradition.
When somebody learns and is integrated into Fairo, that means he's informed and he lived a life of respect toward others, toward the environment, human nature, toward himself.
Several years ago, Fairo had been an active youth group in Moen. Due to the lack of staff, Linda found she could not continue running the program. Recently, a growing concern for the future of the Chukese youth has inspired her to reestablish the group.
A lot of things that I learned from my grandparents and the elders were lessons that were lifetime lessons that help you with coping skills anywhere you go. So that's when I started thinking of starting a program where the youth learn about their own culture, about themselves, their identity.
The breakdown of the extended family has widened the gap between young people and the elders they once looked to for guidance and support. The youth groups try to bridge this gap by involving elders in their activities.
I like what I'm seeing now. A lot of people now are working with the youth groups, a lot of adults.
I think it helps the kids to how to respect the elders and respect his own community.
Young people should feel that they belong. They belong to the community. And I think they should feel that they are accepted and they are valued, and people expect something from them.
Some communities do not have the same cultural roots. Colonia Ponape, for example, is a town where people have migrated for work and education. As a result, the people have no strong traditional ties to each other. In places like this, new programs such as the Girl Scouts have been introduced. These programs, while flexible, are able to establish some form of connection and belonging.
Okay, my troop is composed of kids, some kids from Colonia, some from Suket, Nanponmal, others from Chuk, and I have one from Koshai, one from Yap, and one from Nauru. Basically, that's what we try to work with, the diversity of cultures, everything. We have to try to join those together, to work together. When I first started with the Girl Scouts, I was told that I could teach them anything that I think are practical for Micronesian kids.
It's fun.
It's fun. We do lots of activities.
We learn lots of things.
So we just get together. I'm teaching them more about morals, yeah, to live like a decent Micronesian girl. I'm still learning with them. That's why it's very fun. For me, it's fun because I pick up things when I also learning those things when I'm with them. We learn together.
Girl Scouts can do anything.
In Colonia Yap, young people have created the King Youth Club. Its main purpose is to get the youth off alcohol and drugs by involving them in sports. The King Youth Club has had to create a program flexible enough to accommodate young people who are always on the move and who feel no common bond with their fellow members.
We get kids from that end of the island staying here. We have kids from this end. There's like kids from everywhere, and it's trying to get a community like that to be working together is hard because everybody's from other place.
We've had some success in team sport. We've won some medals. We've won some leagues, and our get-together has always been alcohol-free, drug-free. So we try to get the parents to see us in that way, that we're promoting youth sport.
And the friendship that we have, it's like us knowing that whenever somebody's in trouble, you're always able to count on that person.
If they get that sense that they're part of something, and then I think it changes their outlook on life in general.
Keeping youth groups together can be difficult. The problems they face range from parental distrust to the lack of youth participation. On top of everything, there are financial limitations.
We haven't been active for a while because at the same time, we're trying to fundraise for like activities like for basketball.
The funds needed for youth activities are often scarce. Many youth groups have to put in time and effort to raise funds for their group's needs. Fundraising can become so time-consuming that other activities dwindle and members lose interest.
Once in a while, we have a long period of time that we don't have anything going on. The kids just, sometimes they just don't feel like, coming to the group meeting.
Often the lack of participation in youth programs can be traced to the simple fact that the activities offered do not appeal to everyone. When youth programs do not meet their needs, some youth are left on their own.
I just don't like joining activities, young youth's activities. They play basketball, I don't play because I don't know how.
But then not everybody can be a basketball player, or everybody can be a softball player. So there are people who fall through the cracks.
The Ponape Youth Council is putting together a survey to gather information about youth and their needs.
This is really to see where kids are feeling they are at in their society, if they're valued by society, do adults value them, seek their input, those kinds of things we're looking at.
The results of this survey will be made available to youth organizations as a guide to developing more programs and activities that both the youth and community can support.
Our main goal is to reach out to the young people, the young population of Pohnpei, in finding out their needs, creating programs for them, activities for them, things like that, so that we can help the youth, develop the youth to be more responsible citizens of the state.
The need to involve parents is crucial, for most programs fail without the community's support.
If we didn't have community support or even support from our parents, I don't think it would have worked.
Right from the start, get the parents involved, get the whole community involved. And it has to start with the parents. If the parents support your group, you have a much better chance of succeeding.
It is so important that involvement happens at step one, not after everything else has been decided and the youth come to sell the idea to the parent.
Young people are sometimes wary about involving parents and community in a youth program, for they fear that they will lose their voice once adults are involved.
And it's really hard to get elders to really understand the importance of allowing kids to practice leadership skills, decision-making skills.
They have all these wonderful gifts. Once given an open door, once given support, will flourish.
Youth groups provide support for young Micronesians who face issues and problems unique to their generation. They provide a place of belonging for youth who struggle to find an identity in a rapidly changing society.